Show him that we can win too. Play Jaden when he at full power. Hit him with the mass change. Yeah, I'm the lawyer. Greg is the devour. Heroes, now it's our turn to show you that.
Yugi peoples, welcome to the deck profile. Yeah, I know y'all have been asking a lot of questions trying to get this deck list out of me, and yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that for y'all. Some of y'all might have regionals or case tournaments and stuff coming up this weekend, so let's go ahead and give it to you. First things first, shout out to META TCG, my sponsors. They buy, sell, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic the Gathering, so if y'all use my discount code MHERO and the link down in the description, you save 5% on whatever you buy. Then my second shout out is to Joe Derte up in my locals. Y'all see these the authentic Dark Claw sleeves. Yeah, my boy hooked me up with 15 of those with the white insides, not the Amazon ones that you can buy. These are the authentics, boys. So yeah, shout out to my boy Joe for hooking me up with these. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into this deck profile. One other thing before I jump into the deck profile, another reason why I decided to do it is like a lot of people were asking me if how much it was like Jaden BRs and Samurai X1s deck list. So I looked at their YouTube videos, and the first thing I noticed is that it's Master Duel. Both of their lists were for Master Duel, and after looking at the list, I feel like this deck is a lot stronger in Master Duel, mainly because of Smoke Grenade of the Thief. That's a extra hand loop card, but my deck really looks similar to Jaden BR's. It looked like we made a lot of the same deck choices. The meta's just a little bit different, probably a lot bit different, between Master Duel and the regular TCG. So, our hand trap lineup and, just a couple of main deck choices are a little bit different. So yeah, but it's actually pretty similar to Jaden BR's, just in this deck you can only hand loop two. I'm not I think with Team Samurai X1s, if you include the Neo Space connector, there's a way to loop, 4 or 5, but I didn't really feel like it was necessary because I didn't want to add the Aqua Dolphin off inside of the deck. It's just another brick, if I just draw it by itself. So I decided to run it like this, get 2 cards out of my opponent's hand. Hand knowledge, really gives you a lot. And, after taking 2 cards out of your opponent's hand and knowing everything that they have in hand, it's pretty easy to get victories. It's just hand knowledge plus hand disruption wins games. So yeah, go ahead and jump into the deck profile here. We're going to start with our E-Hero lineup. 2 Stratos, of course. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack about this choice right here. There's only 1 Shadow Miss inside of the deck. I really didn't feel like I needed 2 of them, and I don't really want to draw it all that much because it's not a normal regular hero deck. And then also, with mass change not being as much effective as it was previously, I just didn't really feel like I needed 2 of them. Mainly he's there if I need to send him off of Vion, that's basically all that's for. Then of course our one-ofs, the E-Hero Graceful Charity, of course Spirit of Neos, and then our Vanilla Neos. Very small E-Hero package. Definitely need the 2 Stratoses. And that's about it. There ain't too much to say about that. Like I said, the main thing is just 1 Shadow Miss. The way the deck is designed is that if I go first and do my hand loop stuff or whatever, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna need a Shadow Miss for my second turn, basically because I switched the deck up a little bit with Denier and Mally inside of the grave. That's pretty much my follow up for next turn, and I don't really need the Shadow Miss to do anything else. So yeah, and if I do draw it, it is what it is. I just go from there and do what I got to do in order to make it happen. So there's the E-Heroes. Not much explanation needed for those guys right there. Then my Vision Hero package is just 1 Ferris, 1 Vion. The Ferris I ended up putting off in there because I wanted to have another searchable extender. and Ferris gives me that option, especially like after adding in like the D Hero normal package and stuff, adding in Mally, adding in Denier. I felt like Ferris, was pretty good. He gives me another way to get my second warrior out on the board for Isolde. I didn't want to put in increase. Like, I just don't want the extra brick inside of the deck, and only running one Ferris, one increase would be like kind of weird, especially just like one Vion, one Ferris, one increase. That's just, I don't know. It just makes for a ton of bad draws. So I just did, one Ferris so that I can have a searchable extender by Stratos, and then my one Vion because, like I said, like you're not running increase, and then usually after you do that one Vion, then like I said, you're pretty much just like winning the game. Like I feel like if you go second, like you're either gonna OTK your opponent or they didn't set up a board to where you can't really play the game, whether it be like stuff like anti-spell or Ibly or, whatever it is, your opponent's kind of just locking you out of the game. So, in order to get the deck to run like the way I really wanted it to run, like I wanted to be able to like play like 9 going second cards, even though it's like a 42 card deck. It was just hard to fit anything else off in there. So I just kind of had to minimize everything. And yeah, that's what you see right here is like minimize Vision Hero package. So yeah, there goes that. Then my Destiny Hero package, of course, 2 Mally, and then Denier and Plasma. Now, all right, so the Shadow Mist I ended up taking out of the deck. I took it out for Plasma, and the main reason why I did that is because playing like 3 Fusion Destinies, I felt like if my opponent does stop my combo in the middle of it somewhere, and I do have Fusion Destiny, I want to be able to do DPE and Plasma if possible, and it's even better if I haven't special summoned a monster and I can get my my Cross Crusader effect. But a lot of times what ends up happening, I might go like Stratos or try to go Vion. They'll go ahead and get hand trapped. I'll consider my options and then be like, okay, in this situation it's better for me to just go DPE Plasma. So I activate the Fusion Destiny, and that card is a 1 card, Plasma. 1 card Plasma DPE, and it wins games. DPE wins games, and Plasma helps you get there as well. A little bit better than Apollousa when against certain decks, because he's got the 1900. So even if I don't have DPE out on the board, he still ends up being stronger than Apollousa after she gets that 1 negate, because she drops down to 1600. So depending on the deck, like Sword Soul, like I kind of have to like pick and choose, because they also have the Tenyi monsters, so I like the Apollousa them, but at the same time it's just like if I only have a 3 negate Apollousa and I negate Mo Yi, she's or Taya, it's just attacking over it. So it's kind of like a pick and choose depending on like what my opponent had in hand. So yeah, Plasma, my D Hero package right there. I really liked Plasma. Like it didn't break too much. Then my Warrior lineup for Isolde targets, 2 Crosskeeper. Yeah, I was playing 3, but it just seemed like I was drawing it like way too much. So I went ahead and just cut it down to 2. And then Renaud, y'all saw that I was missing that in a couple of my videos. So Renaud is off in there now. And, my 1 Fire Flint Lady. I wanted to run 2 Fire Flint Ladies, but I ended up doing Ferris instead of the other Fire Flint Lady because it was like more easily searchable. So yeah, that's the reason why you don't see like multiples. And then like looking back at my old Isolde deck, I noticed that I was running 1 and 1 before then too, and I was like, hey, if it worked then, it should be able to work now. So yeah, like I actually end up having to do this like quite a bit, the Crosskeeper. It just kind of sucks when I draw like one of the equipped cards and I can't do Crosskeeper, but we still get Renaud, Link Climb up into Apollousa and such. So that is my monster lineup right now. We'll go into my hand traps. 3 Ash, 2 Nib, 1 Imperm. Y'all know when y'all see stuff like this, it's definitely signature rising that I have the cross out. So, that's why the 1 Imperm is off in there. Like I'm only running 2 Nibs. Like I was running 3 at first. I cut it down to 2, Mostly because like I noticed that when I did, nib Kishtira, like I don't know, it just didn't really seem all that effective. So yeah, I just didn't have much room for like too many hand traps, and so I decided, I really wanted to be able to run 3 Book of Eclipse because I felt like, that would give me a better fighting chance against Kisteria and a wider variety of decks, and I could have cut it down to 2 Ash, but I felt like, Ash was a lot better against a lot of the, against like all the decks, period. Just like even against Kashtira, you can use it against their, spell card that summons out from deck, against branded Despia, you're using it against branded Fusion and whatnot. Dinos for some reason is like on the rise really big. You hit that what is his name, Miss with Ash, and there's just so many things. Ash just seemed a lot more versatile, so I decided to play 3 Ash instead of 3 Nibs. But, we still got the nib off in there. Got the 1 Imperm. That's definitely a cross-out target. But there was like a total of 9 going second cards. So, it'll be these 6 plus the 3 Book of Eclipse. So that's my hand trap lineup. Now for my spells. 3, a hero lives. I definitely recommend playing the speed duel Euro print ones. Like I seem to draw this card like all the time. It's crazy. 3 fusion destinies. We'll talk about that in a second. Then that, my equip targets, in shuffle, instant contact, and then we'll talk about these in a second. All right, so 3 hero lives. Of course, like it sucks having to pay half your life points sometimes, but it's really really good card. I feel like gotta have it. Like love the Euro print with speed duels. Whenever speed duel prints, secrets, I'm trying to get those because the Euro prints are just beautiful. And like I don't know, it just seemed like I think y'all saw like even one of the games that I uploaded against Dinos, I drew 2 of hero lives and actually got to use both of them in the turn. So yeah, big addition to the deck here. Fusion Destiny at 3. Like it kind of sucks that I'm not playing, another how do you say, another Fusion Destiny target inside of my extra deck, which I'm actually like considering going up to playing 2 DPEs. So yeah, that might end up being a thing where I'm summoning like multiple DPEs just because of Kishtira, and then Dinos with their what is it, lithograph or whatever, taking 3 cards out of your extra deck. They're going for an extra deck, y'all. So gotta do something about that. So we got 3 Fusion Destinies. Like it just seemed like every time I drew it, I drew the second one also, and I ended up like losing in Top Cut because no, actually it wasn't Top Cut that I ended up losing to. It was I lost one of my first round matches to Labyrinth because I had Cross Crusader, not Cross Crusader. I had Cross Keeper inside of my graveyard, and I also had In Shuffle, and I had polymerization with Vanilla Neos and I think what was the other one? Vanilla Neos and Denier in hand. So I was like, okay, I can make DPE, and just pass here, which is really really good. Or I could make this Sunrise, draw 2 off of my Crosskeeper, and then I also dump my Vanilla Neos into the graveyard so I can use my In Shuffle to shuffle it in. I was like, draw 3 cards. So like I done did my whole Isolde combo, special summoned all this, and I was just like, there's no way that I don't draw one of my 3 Fusion Destinies with 3 draws, right? Yeah, I didn't draw it, so we ended up losing that game. I definitely should have just went DPE with my dumb self. So yeah, that is what it is. 3 Book of Eclipse, of course. Like I love this card. It just seems so good. Like against most things, especially because like a lot of the more stronger, more powerful decks aren't Blink decks right now. So it's a very, very powerful card. It's been putting in a lot of work. I love it. Like I think there was even one game where like I book a moon, like I think against Dinos, I book a moon like 4 monsters on his side of the board, and then he was just like, "Are you gonna be able to kill me?" And I looked at my extra deck to make sure that Big Chill Ab Zero was inside of my extra deck, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll fist the board, wipe you, and kill you." So yeah, glad I didn't forget it that day. My equip targets for Isolde, Durandal, Living Fossil. Yeah, I wish this could be Smoke Grenade of the Thief, but yeah, it's not Master Duel. They're not fit to let us have that. All right, then 2 In Shuffles. I was playing 3 of these, and then I decided it wasn't like, I don't know, like it just seemed like I was drawing it way too much. and it just wasn't helping me get to exactly what I need. So just like the Crosskeeper, I ended up cutting one of them, and then one instant contact. Because of the way like I ended up changing and setting up my extra deck, you know, for Fusion Destiny plays and whatnot, I went down to just the one instant contact because I didn't really feel like, you know, I needed like multiples of it in order to be able to do what I was trying to do. So yeah, one instant contact, double in shuffle. That's those right there. And then my other one of, you know, spells that we have here, one cross out, one call by, of course, Miracle Fusion, Poly, Rhoda, and one mass change. Yeah, like there was one game where I wish this was another cross out because I got impermed and I was like, yeah, call by doesn't work on imperm. But this is my one of lineups, cross out designator. There was never a time that I drew it and I regretted it. Like in a hand trap format, especially like the way I'm playing, like I feel like cross out designator is really, really good, especially in this version of hero because, all right, so like in regular heroes, it might not be all that powerful because when you play regular heroes and you go to end your turn, or when you're playing Omni heroes and you go to end your turn, it's just like if you didn't activate the cross out designator, it's kind of like you don't want to set it. It's like, damn, I really don't want to set this cross out designator, but I don't want it to be pointless also. But inside of this version, because I put Apollousa out there on the board, you know, I don't have to worry about getting nibbed anymore at that point. So I'm safe to set crossout designator so that I can hit cards like triple tactics talents, thrust, you know, I do side those in like going first because, you know, they're really good going first. And then also, like I said, like after I put the Apollousa out on the board and I don't have to worry about Nibiru anymore, I can actually set the crossout designator and I can hit those cards if my opponent, you know, tends to activate them. Like I was kind of thinking about putting like it's like I want to be able to do Darkhold and Regeki and stuff too, but it's just like it's hard to tell like which one your opponent is playing. So, you know, I just decided to go against it, even though I feel like I would be leaning more towards, you know, Darkhold in order to do it. So yeah, but crossout designator, it definitely, you know, performed at everything that I wanted to do. There was never a time where I regretted drawing it just because, like I said, the way it goes. One mass change. You know, I don't tend to use it too much. I usually use my Shadow Mist effect to do my ad. You know, I'm trying to hand loop my opponent, you know, like, but, you know, in certain matchups, like, what was it against Dark World where I can't hand loop my opponent, you know, it changes a little bit strategy to where I go for my mass change play instead of, you know, focusing on the Dolphins and stuff to hand loop my opponent. So, you know, it's there if I need it, you know, in certain matchups, but, you know, it's just not all that needed as much. Then, of course, the one of Miracle Fusion Poly, you know, glad I put this off in there. You know, it thins out, you know, a little bit. And then, of course, the one Rhoda. Yep, amazing card. Wish we could play 3 of those, but no. It's like, why would you play 3 Rhodas, but you don't play 3 emergency calls? I don't know. There's just like a big difference between Rhoda and emergency call. But yeah, that's my main deck lineup. I want to say that it's a 42 card. Should be about 42 cards. Go and look at my extra deck here, which is not oops, I kind of messed up the camera there. Sorry about that, y'all. Yeah, so go into my extra deck, which I didn't organize before we went into this. So let's go ahead and separate all this stuff real quick. Sorry about that. But yeah, we can just go ahead and look at them from here. But access code talker, cross sheep, Apollousa, of course, 2 Isoldes, because even if I'm not playing against Keshtiras, like there are a lot of times where if you're going to imperm or hit or, you know, ash, or not probably like ash, but a lot of times if you're going to imperm the Isolde, it's like, why let him get off one effect and then, you know, imperm the other one? So usually they imperm, you know, the first effect. And then, like, if I have another warrior extender, another way to get a warrior out on the board, I can go ahead and make my second Isolde and still be able to send the equips in order to special summon one. So yeah. Then of course Unicorn, IP. Yep, that's my normal Link Monster lineup. You know, there were a couple of games where I got debarriered, but because we have a link package off inside of here, I was able to link climb up into access code talker and still kill my opponent anyway. This is really good against trap decks. Also, because like when they're going to go set during the end phase, you know, you can go ahead and go IP into Unicorn and, you know, get one of those traps off the board. I actually think that I did do that. I ended up playing against Trap Tricks, and yeah, to get rid of, like, yeah, I was used it to get rid of the back rows, you know, in his end phase and stuff. So yeah, those are, you know, my little link package. Love this card. Crosskeeper is like extra free Stratos' effects, and, you know, just depending on like what I'm trying to do, yeah, extra Stratos' effects. That's those right there. My other two link monsters, because I went ahead and put in the Fusion Destinies and stuff, I decided to go ahead and run Crosskeeper and Wonder Driver. You know, it's just there specifically for when I pretty much do Fusion Destiny plays, like specifically for when I have to do Fusion Destiny, and like that's my best resort. You know, you just got to be careful with it because you can't use the effect of, you know, Crosskeeper if you special summon, you know, other monsters that aren't heroes. So just be careful when you're doing that to not lock yourself out of the game. Wonder Driver, this one right here, like I added it in because I noticed a lot of times, like really, let's just say it like this, only running one polymerization, like there's literally like having one polymerization, and there were times where I wanted to be able to, you know, summon out Sunrise and be able to summon out DPE. So I decided to go ahead and put in the Wonder Driver. And, you know, the thing is, like, when you're playing this deck and you have the Wonder Driver, just remember that if you're going to make a Wonder Driver play, you have to do it like pretty much with your two heroes like at the beginning, because after you start linking everything else unless you're doing like just doing these two, if you go Isolde or anything like that, you're probably not going to be able to do Wonder Driver, mostly because, you know, the monster needs to be summoned to the zone that he points to, and since none of the other Link monsters are heroes, like it's really hard to get him up there in that zone. So just remember, you know, if you do end up playing Wonder Driver, like if you're going to make Wonder Driver play to get your poly back, then you're going to have to go ahead and do that first before you start doing your other Link summoning. But yeah, this card was awesome when I did have Fusion Destiny, and that was the way to go. Like, you know, just do that, search Stratos with his effect, and, you know, add off that plasma. You know, DPE plasma is like a great turn. And yeah, so actually, you know, and then considering the Wonder Driver, I don't know, man, it's like it was there when I needed it, but I really wish it was Shining Neo's Wingman, which I had to cut. But then the thing about putting Shining Neo's Wingman off inside of there is that I have to cut another card from my extra deck in order to put in Flame Wingman. So that's why y'all don't see the Flame Wingman, you know, stuff off inside of there right now, and why I went down to just one instant contact, because it was just like taking up two cards in my extra deck. And also I cut the favorite contact because, like, it's a really good card. It's an amazing, awesome card, but I didn't want to keep drawing it. Like, even when I was playing one, it just seemed like I was drawing it. I can't do anything with it, you know, when I have to go second. And it just seemed like even when I did have it, it just seemed like, hey, I could have just used Poly and did like this same thing with Vaya instead of, you know, having to do it with his favorite contact. Yeah, so, and then I really wanted to be searching instant contact off of my Spirit of Neos instead of searching favorite contact. So yeah, I just ended up cutting that little package, save on extra deck space. And yep, so that's those. And then of course my fusions. Yeah, I was missing this card a whole lot. But, you know, MVPs, this format, you know, I think y'all even noticed that, like, some of the decks from the Team YCS, a lot of people are, like, starting to use, like, a little dolphin package. Like, looking at your opponent's hand and getting off inside of there is just, it's just amazing, man. I think somebody actually did it to me. He did the fusion deployment, and I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, it was pretty nice. But one Dark Law, you know, he's there if I need it. If, you know, depending on the matchup, if I need to decide to do it. A lot of matchups, though, I'm actually end up siding out Mass Change when I'm going second, because it's like I feel like my opponent has already kind of like set up their board and like did what they want to do. And yeah, just like Dark Law is just not all that great once my opponents already set up their board, you know, depending on what the deck is. Like against tiers and stuff, you know, it's a whole lot better. Against a deck, you know, that, you know, needs their graveyard, you know, it's going to be a whole lot better. But a lot of times, you know, especially against like stuff like Hystera, Sword Soul, all those decks and everything, I was just siding Mass Change out. Sunrise, of course. And then our boy Big Chill that we were missing, he came in such clutch. DPE constantly put in work, and then my 2 hand loopers, like, you know, they put in a lot of work and everything. And yeah, that is my extra deck. You know, of course, 15 cards. Like I'm telling y'all, like I'm absolutely loving this deck. Like it runs, flows exactly like how I've been how I've been wanting it to. Like even though you can only hand loop for 2, the hand looping for 2 has just been phenomenal, especially like with the hand knowledge, knowing what my opponent has on the board. And then, you know, depending on like what kind of deck, you know, because pretty much like after you see their hand, it's kind of like, you know, what they're doing with their deck and stuff. So, you know, just have to pick and choose, because, you know, they're basically, you know, both of them are basically like 3 monsters. So it's just like, do I want to go Plasma, or do I want to go Apollousa if they have stuff that it activates in hand and in the graveyard and stuff. So, you know, just love that option to be able to do that. As far as like anything else I would change out of the deck, I feel like it runs and flows like really good. I wish I could fit in like another Imperm, or go ahead and fit in that 3rd nib, but I'm not sure what I would take out for it. Of course, you know, the crossout designator is a big thing, but you know, with so many people running like Ash and Imperm, I just felt like crossout was like really good. I really wish I could fit in a second one, because like with this deck, it's a whole lot easier to combo off, because, you know, I just have to get any of my 2 warriors out on the board, and, you know, I'm good to roll. Especially like if I open up with a hero lives, you know, it's just like, oh, we definitely rolling, because, you know, Stratos is, you know, 2 warriors by himself. So yeah, absolutely loving the deck. It's performed phenomenally after I actually like got all the cards that I wanted inside of my main deck and inside of my extra deck, and, you know, stop making so many play mistakes. And yeah, you know, it is what it is. We got to, you know, play it in 2 tournaments. Both times we made it to top cut. One of them we got all the way finished first place, you know. And so next week y'all will see, you know, quite a few of those duels, and we will also do a test hand video at some point. So, you know, yeah, check this out. You know, if you like the Jaden BR's hand loop deck on Master Duel, you could look at this as a TCG version of that deck, because yeah, I think this one was a lot more similar to Jaden BR's than Team Samurai X1's, because he was running Neo Space Connector, which I actually really want to try the Neo Space Connector. I just haven't did it yet. We might give it a try next week, you know, see what happens. But, you know, y'all let me know what y'all think about this list. If y'all do play it, you know, let me know how it ends up working for y'all and going. And, you know, like one of the things, you know, that I thought was like pretty crazy is like, you know, it's a hand loop hero deck, but I lost a lot of my dice rolls. I'm pretty sure I lost like every single dice roll, and I still ended up managing to be able to win, you know, my game ones. Just like the deck, you know, it's like it has a lot of gas. Your opponent has to like pick and choose a lot of things, you know, in order to like, dang, where am I going to negate, where I'm going to stop this? And it's just like sometimes you just have more gas and keep going, you know, especially now that Fusion Destiny is off in there. You know, it's kind of like if I know that my opponent has set up a board, and, you know, the first thing I do is end up summoning Stratos, you know, I make sure that I have my Plasma in hand, because I know that I won't be able to search it later on with Crosskeeper if I do activate my Fusion Destiny. And so, you know, that's one thing to think about. You know, it's like evaluating your opponent's board state and what they might do. And when you get that Stratos search, it's like, dang, am I going to go get Vion, Liquid Soldier, or do I want Plasma, because I'm going to have to activate this Fusion Destiny at the end after my opponent, you know, has stopped everything else I want to do. So I already want to have the Plasma in my hand. So yep, that's the deck list. Appreciate everybody for staying a while to listen, and I will catch y'all on the next video. And don't forget to check out Meta TCG. Yep.
Messing with the masked hero, king the game. Mask off, now you see that a hero lives. I pay half and you ask, but I'm winning games. There ain't another hero that surpasses me.